Hey guys, this past week I've been in London with the goal of visiting the best museums and seeing the best art. In this video, I'm giving you an overview of what I visited and my personal highlights, so you can shortlist some of these for your next trip to London. Obviously, there are so many galleries and masterpieces worth seeing, but here I selected my personal favorites of what gave me the strongest emotional reaction in that moment. And if you go, I'm really curious to know what your favorite museums and works were. I'll go through each museum I visited and tell you why, in my opinion, it's worth seeing. And if you're short on time, I hope this video helps you pick the ones that match your interests best. Before we begin, a few practical things you should know. Most museums are free to enter, although some recommended booking in advance to reserve a time slot. I didn't have problems just showing up, but online I saw that some time slots were already fully booked. Opening hours are usually from 10 AM to 5 or 6 PM, except Fridays, when many museums stay open later. Cloakrooms are available in many museums, where you can leave your bag or backpack. I traveled with just a backpack, and on my arrival and departure days, I was able to leave it without using external luggage store. Some cloakrooms are free, for example at Tate Britain, while others charge a small fee, for example at British Museum or Victoria and Albert Museum, still cheaper than a deposit service. Free guided tours are often available. I joined one at the National Portrait Gallery, and it helped me get to know some artists better. Check the museum's website or ask at the info desk for times, and don't worry if you miss them. Most artworks have good descriptions, so you won't feel lost. I also saw lots of people drawing in the museums. Many places offer portable chairs so you can sit down and sketch. If that's something you enjoy, don't forget to bring your sketchbook. National Gallery, probably the most famous one, and for good reason. The museum is all on one floor but has 66 rooms and possibly the widest art collection in the UK, ranging from medieval works to Impressionism. Da Vinci, Van Gogh, Michelangelo, Monet, all under one roof. Make sure to plan enough time. Personally, I visited over 2 days to give a second look to my favorite works. I also stopped to sketch Samson and Delilah by Rubens for half an hour. My highlights here were the intense expression in this portrait by Andrea del Sarto, also the smoothness and detail in this Bellini, and the incredible depth on Jan van Eyck's Arnolfini's portrait. Also, as my name is Caterina, I have a personal love for paintings of Saint Catherine. My favorite is the one by Raphael. The composition and the lines guiding your eye are just beautiful to me. I was also moved by Artemisia Gentileschi's Saint Catherine. She's a female artist I truly admire. Nearby were powerful works of Caravaggio, Ribera, and Zurbarán. His work left me speechless. The light and the shadow create such drama, mystery, and sacredness. I also unexpectedly saw the Rockabilly Venus by Velázquez. Fun fact, in my 5th week at the academy, our teacher had us draw a model in that exact pose, so it brought back great memories. Also, did you know the canvas was slashed by a suffragette in 1914? It's been restored, but let me know if you spot any trace of the damage because I couldn't see it. There are also full rooms dedicated to Rembrandt and Rubens, just so you know. New discoveries for me included Joseph Wright of Derby's Candlelit Scene, a dramatic horse by George Stubbs, and the powerful execution of Lady Jane Grey by Paul Delaroche, which puts you right in the moment. National Portrait Gallery, right next door to the National Gallery. If you love faces that tell stories, this is your place. Every glance, every wrinkle tells a chapter of British history. It's the bigger than expected 3 floors of portrait from 1300s to today. On the 3rd floor, I discovered Joshua Reynolds, one of the greatest British portraitists of the 1700s. His self-portrait shielding his eyes and the portrait of Sir Joseph Banks really stuck me. Also unforgettable, The Stare of the Boxer Jane Wharton by William Daniels. My favorite floor was the 2nd, especially because of John Singer Sargent, one of my absolute favorite painters. Portraits of Elizabeth Garrett Anderson, Octavia Hill, Henrietta Franklin, the Earl of Balfour, and especially Henry James. No photo or video can capture that expression. The brushwork is just magical. I was also struck by Laura Knight's self-portrait with nude. I didn't know her work before and was happy to discover it. Finally, there's room dedicated to Lucian Freud with his paintings and sketches, plus 3 studies of his portrait by Francis Bacon, his friend, and possibly more. I also went to Jenny Saville temporary exhibition Anatomy of a Painting, which was at the National Gallery, but that cost £21, but it's totally worth it for me. Jenny Saville is a contemporary figurative painter who explores the female body and beauty with bold brushstrokes and color. There were oil paintings, but also many charcoal and pastel drawings. What I appreciated the most was how she referenced the old masters while keeping a modern voice. Victorian Albert Museum exceeded my expectations. It's a museum where fashion, sculpture and interior design meet across centuries. While I didn't spend much time in the fashion or work culture sections, the cast core absolutely captivated me. 2 huge rooms with casts of famous sculpture and architectural elements. If I lived in London, I'd be there drawing every day. I sketched Michelangelo's Dying Slave and Albert Toft's Bather, both inspiring. The British Museum has an incredible collection of ancient Greek and Roman statues all in one place. While the museum covers the entire history of human civilization, I focused on art. Beside the statues, I found some great works on paper, including Michelangelo cartoon and a Rubens drawing. That line work. But just a heads up, it was the most crowded museum I visited in London. Navigating through the rooms was a bit stressful. Tate Britain is dedicated to British art across centuries, from Turner to Hockney to Damien Hirst. The first room had easels and sketching stations, such a welcoming atmosphere. Amongst my highlight there is Millet Ophelia. The background is painted leaf by leaf outdoors on plein air, while the model posed in a bathtub to be painted. Can you imagine? Also by Millet, Christ in the house of his parent, which I loved for the colors of the face of the Christ, and at the beginning I thought this was a girl, and for the detail in the hands and veins. Amongst the ones that I keep thinking of, there is this Anna Leah Merritt's Love Locked Out, a heartbreaking Cupid pressed against her husband Tom. Of course, amongst my favorite there were Sargent's works. One of the most famous there is Carnation Lily Lily Rose, which was painted over 2 years to capture fading sunlight. But my favorite was his more spontaneous oil sketch of a boy on a beach. Also, if you love Turner, this is the place. There are entire rooms dedicated to his work. And although I'm not a big fan of conceptual art, Damien Hirst's piece really stood out to me. And if you're into contemporary art, Tate Modern is your place. Personally, I don't connect much with conceptual art, but seeing one of the Duchamp's fountain made me think about how art history has been shaped throughout the past century. There was a room dedicated to Rothko's Sigrun murals, and of him I appreciate the color depth and the big size of the canvas that absorbs you, and also there were some Richter canvases as well, but I must say that the room with most people were the figurative ones, with Modigliani, Morandi, Dalí, De Chirico, and so on. For a personal taste, Tate Modern is a skip. Wallace Collection is a hidden gem, a luxurious mansion filled with rococo, armor and intimate masterpieces. You know, Fragonard's joyful pieces felt like stepping into a fantasy world after all the dark and dramatic work seen in the past few days. There was also delightful Rubens, look especially at the children's faces, and this huge vibrant champagne. One of my teachers said that the blue must be made from lapis lazuli. I also found so touching Anthony van Dyck's portrait of Paris as a shepherd. Finally, there were 2 beautiful Rembrandts, including a self-portrait and a portrait of his son. The Courtauld Gallery is for those who like brushstrokes, and here we're talking about brushstrokes that change the art world forever. In fact, it is the greatest collection of Impressionist art in the UK. Keep in mind that this gallery is not free, but the entrance is about £12. The Impressionists are on the last floor, and behind the oil sketch of Manet, Déjeuner sur l'herbe, Van Gogh's self-portrait with Ben Daguerre results quite impressive. Created in harsh condition, it really demonstrated Van Gogh's determination to continue painting. From the other side of the room, the bartender of Manet Folie Berger stares at you with a melancholic stare, contrasting with the mirror reflection of the party going on. In the floor below, Lucas Cranach the eldest, Adam and Eve almost remains unobserved, while Eve's sensual look seduces Adam into eating the apple. Then lots of Rubens sketches through which you can try to understand the way in which the artist worked. Last but not least, Dulwich Picture Gallery. Before putting this on your list, keep in mind it is a little bit far and difficult to reach. Moreover, the entry ticket is around £10. The gallery is quite small and calm, surrounded by a nice garden and perfect to enjoy some great art in silence. There were mainly 3 pieces I really loved. This majestic Saint Sebastian by Guido Reni, this portrait of a girl at the window by Rembrandt, and Peter Lely's Nymphs by the Fountain. Lely is in fact a British artist that I was not familiar with, and that work of art struck me so much that I had to sit and draw for a little bit the nymph on the right. And here we go, that's it guys. Let me know if there are any other art museums or galleries I should visit next time I'm in London, and tell me what works you love the most. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe and leave a little comment. See you in the next video. Bye!